we go. All right, color theory. All right, I'm not going to get too crazy into it. Basically, color is an element of art, and there are 7 elements of art, and we have studied several of them. We've studied line, value, texture, shape, and now we're working on color. And it's an element of art derived from reflected light. In other words, we don't have color without light. Okay, so then I would like for you to find your primaries, which are, here we go, are red, blue, and yellow. And I really want you to find the color pencils that say red, yellow, and blue. And then you can find the ones that say orange and green and violet. Do not pull out colors that say light green and whatnot, because you'll end up with trouble. They won't mix as nicely. So this is as close as I could find with my set. If you have a set of Crayolas, I think that it's better than this praying set I have. Or Blick, I mean. Okay, so an element of art is derived from reflected light. And then if you look at the first group of colors is your primary triad. And so you're going to pull out and do red, blue, and yellow. Now they're primary colors basically because they are the first group of colors. And you cannot make these colors from anything but nature and elements of nature. So like minerals and whatnot. So basically these colors are the first colors, and we as humans have created them with chemistry. And so originally we got them from plants. So red, blue, and yellow are your primary colors. Now, your secondary colors are made from red, blue, and yellow. So you've got your blue and your yellow mixed together making green. Your yellow and red mixed together to make orange. Your red and your blue mixed together to make violet or purple, whatever you want to call it. All right, now here's the issue. I need y'all to be thinking about filling this out as we go. That way, as soon as we're done, you can turn it in and you're done with that piece of this project. All right, we're going to go down. So if we take our primary blue and green and mix them together, you get blue-green. And red and orange, red-orange, yellow-orange, yellow-green. So here are them laid out. But we need, before we go any further, we do need to look at the color wheel itself. So let's play with the color wheel. All right, we're going to go with the color wheel. Using a straight edge, it could be a piece of paper folded in half. I want you to draw a line from top to bottom and across. I'm lining it up. Across your color wheel. Oops. Across your color wheel. All right. If you can see that. And then to finish a color wheel, you're going to take and make a V in each of these sections. That will give you 12 spaces. And I have marks for you to make it a little easier. I'm just going to quickly show you. It's a V. So in each one of these quadrants, you're going to put a V. And each time, that gives you the correct spacing for 12 spaces. And then we're going to start with putting our primaries in. So we're going to start with yellow. So yellow goes first, and it's at the top. Oh, let me see. I'll go with, so we'll do yellow. And then it's 1, 2, 3 blue. 1, 2, 3 red. There's your primaries put in. And if you'll remember this, it will help you to actually do a color wheel anytime you need one. All right, then yellow and blue make green. This is your secondary group. Yellow and red make orange. red and blue make violet. There's your beginning. And then, of course, if you mix yellow and green, you're going to have yellow-green, blue-green, blue-violet, red-violet, red-orange, yellow-orange. And the reason we always use the primary first is that's the correct way to do it. Now, Crayola does have color pencils and markers that basically will say green-yellow or orange-red. And what they're indicating is that there is more orange in that particular color, so it changes the colors. So what we're going to do is we are going to play with the idea of how do I color this. I would like for you to color it, and I'm going to show you in the next one. But basically, I want you can put the number or the letters in there like I just did on that one. And then I want you to color it. And the way that I want you to color it is I want you to deal with that triangle and keep it darker in the center and move out lighter. And the best way to do that is to take a color. I'm going to mix a red-orange, and I'm going to blend that color as lightly as possible. You're going to want to do it other ways, but I'm going to suggest you do it my way, and the reason for that is it's the most efficient. It's going to be the quickest. So this is if you don't have a red-orange. I would prefer you mix it. I think it's a good habit or practice to get into. Now notice that I've gotten it all one value, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it back and darken it. This one is appearing a little more orange or red than I want, so I'm going to add a little orange to it because remember I'm trying to do a red-orange. Now I'm going to drop it back some more. I have so far 2 values of red and red-orange. Now you can see this one has actually reading more orange. So I'm going to blend in some red. I have 1, 2, 3 values at this point. You are going to be required to do at least 4. So it's a good practice to get at least 4. I have 4. There is one other thing you can do. You can take your pencil, and you can actually add this gray-black into the very tip. I'm going to put a little bit of it in the tip. And then I'm going to go over that with my orange and my red. And that's going to give me a little darker version of red-orange. Just a tiny bit darker of the red-orange. And so what I end up with here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 values easily. All right, with that said, now we're going to move down here and we're going to talk about color schemes. Color schemes are an arrangement of colors that is pleasing to the eye. And we will create color schemes in our paintings. A color scheme is a cool color triad, and this is again triad meaning 3 colors. So we have a cool color triad and a warm color triad. I switched them, don't do what I did. Obviously I wasn't reading my words, I just colored them. So you're going to need to do, this is the cool color, and this is the warm color triad, Miss Perkins. Okay, so warm are the red, the yellow, and the orange, and you're going to be thinking about like fire, so warm. And cool colors are like water, wind, earth, grass. Those are cool, and so those are our blues. I did not notice that until that's what happens when you're watching television and coloring. All right, now sliding it here. Now what I've got here we're going to deal with a scheme, a color scheme. Now you can take a color scheme, and one of them would be like a complementary color. Our complements are always across the color wheel. So like red and a green are immediately across each other in the color wheel. So they are a complementary color. Blue and orange are directly across from each other, a complementary color group or scheme. And then yellow and violet, here they are across each other from the color wheel. Now that you're going to take, and you're actually going to color your sphere. Notice I used the chiaroscuro sphere, and I paid attention to the light source here is the lightest, and when I colored deeper right here to get my core shadow, and then again there's reflected light right here, and then I used the complement, here's my violet on my ball, and then I use the complement for my table. And so you'll notice that the shade here of yellow is dark, it's actually shaded, and the edge of the table is darker. And here we have a complement. Let's say you choose a green ball. Your complement is going to be, of course, across from the color wheel, is going to be red, so the background will be red. And vice versa, if you put the ball red, then you will have a background of green. So I'm going to let you make that decision. Here's your orange and blue sphere, and you have the orange background or table and blue ball. But if you were to do orange on the ball, then you would have a blue background. All right, now sliding it down. Those are your examples. I would like you to draw them out. Information here. So value is the lightness and darkness of a color, or in many cases we've done so far, it's an element of art as well. And so we get shade if we take black and add it to a color, and we get what is called a tint if we add white to that color. So if we take this little area down here and you color that over the top of the black, hard as you can go with the color of the pencil that you choose. You may choose whatever color you'd like. And I am going to use the word hue here because hue is just another word for color. It just is, you could say, I like that red hue, or I like that red color. Now, monochrome is basically a Greek word, mono meaning one, and chroma meaning color. So a monochrome is this one here. And basically I'm taking the red and I'm mixing it over the top of the black. And then as I go out this way, I'm getting less and less and less and allowing more of the white of the paper to show through, which is actually adding white to my color. And when eventually I get to white. And here's one using the green. And here's one using orange. So again, you're going to go as hard as you can over the top of that black, and that stippled gray is what that's representing. And you're going to try to create a value scale. Now there are 9 spaces there, so it's a good value scale right there. It's a tough one, but you can do it. I should see a different value in each spot. Split complement. That's another color scheme. So a split complement is made up of 3 hues. First you choose your main color, so let's say I choose red. And then the split complement, normally it would be the complement green, but in this case it's red, split it between the two here. You're going to go yellow green, blue green. So a split complementary painting would have red, yellow green, blue green. And I have some examples of that to show you. That's going to be a sample A, I believe. I'm just going to give it a name. That's for your split complement. Have monochromatic. And I'm going to give that one a sample B. Probably should switch it, but that's okay. I've already said it and wrote it. All right, and then let's see, monochrome and a split complementary. And then analogous is a lot like your cool colors and your warm colors. Analogous, if you look, if you take analogous, it's basically a group of colors next to each other on the color wheel. So if you look at it, yellow, green, green, blue, green, or yellow, yellow, green, green, any of these groupings almost appear monochromatic. But you can slip over to here and you have yellow, green, or yellow, orange, yellow, yellow, green, and now you've got a mix of the warm and cool. So that's where the analogous can become very interesting. And so that's going to be, analogous is going to be your sample C. And then I want you to play with what are our neutrals. And basically our neutrals are black, white, and gray. And you can mix black into a color. It's not considered a color, it's a neutral. So you're mixing black into a color, it changes creates a shade. And if you mix white into a color, you've got a tint. So black, white, and gray are considered neutrals. And what I'd like you to do here, this one's kind of fun, and it'll be challenging. I want you to take the primary yellow, blue, and red, and I want you to mix them to create a brown. In this case, you can kind of see the separation of color, but if you keep blending and keep blending, you will eventually either get kind of a yellow-brown, or a blue-brown, or a red-brown. It's not going to be perfect, but it will appear more brown, and that's how you actually get to brown. And anytime you're ever trying to get to brown, just take your paints and mix your primary colors together. Now, if I have orange, which is basically made up of red and yellow, then all I would have to do is add blue, and I would have a brown. The interesting thing is, each of these complementary colors, when grouped, are actually giving you all three. And so basically, you've got blue, yellow, and red. There's your primary. They will, all three groups, make a brown. And they make them a little different, so they're neat looking. As soon as you have completed this, colored it to the range that I have done here, of course, do this correctly. Don't put your cool colors in the wrong place. That's what happens. Like I said, just be careful you're not watching television. And do this right. Golly, Miss Perkins. And you can choose any color scheme that you want as far as the color scheme here. I just want to make sure that whatever color you choose, you're going to put the complement on behind it or on the table. And then you may choose any color. You can, with this area here, you can actually choose any color you want to. I will warn you that yellow is difficult to see when you get into these lighter ranges because the contrast is not as great between white and yellow. But it's entirely up to you if you want to try doing it. All right, well, have fun.